Hi viewers, welcome back. So we have seen few questions related to user management, role management in the previous videos. So in this video also we will concentrate few more SAP security related questions on the roles and authorization concept. As I said earlier, once again I am repeating, these are the interview questions just for the knowledge sharing purpose. It is not that every interviewer will ask the same questions and they do expect the same answers from us. So let us see the few more questions related to the rules and authorization concept. Mostly asked question is what is user comparison. So user comparison is majorly used for the comparing the user master record. Whenever we do changes in the role in PFCG, to update these changes, for that purpose we generally use this user comparison. So it will compare the existing user master records and update the new changes accordingly. So this can be done either manually in this way, or we can automate this by using a report called PFCG underscore time dependency. Is there any other usage for this report PFCG underscore time dependency? Yes. The report can also be used to remove the expired profiles from the user master record as well. Do we have any report to remove the duplicate roles assigned to the user? We have a report called PRGN underscore compress underscore times, which is used to remove the duplicate roles with different start and end dates which are assigned to the user. It is like, if the same role is assigned with a validity from 1st of Jan to 10th of Jan, and the same role is again assigned from the 5th of Jan to 10th of February. So the same role which is assigned with different start date and end dates, so it will remove one role and it will keep the role which is having the extended validity. So this is a report is used in the real time. The PFCG underscore time dependency and the PRGN underscore compress times are the reports which are scheduled to run daily in the system for this activities. Now when we see, there are few questions which are asked majorly on the authorization field concepts. So authorization fields, I can remember the most time sometimes as what are the different statuses of this authorization fields. So in PFCG, when you start changing the authorization data, there we can see four statuses for the authorization fields. One is standard, maintained, changed, and manually. Standard means these authorization objects and the fields and the values are directly pulled from the SU24 whenever you add a T code in the role menu. Maintained, this means that the object is pulled but the in SU24 the values are empty. So those empty values whenever you provide in here, then the status of the authorization object will be as maintained. Changed means what? Already the object is having the some standard values which are pulled from SU24, but you are changing it to the some other values, so then the status is updated as changed. Last one is manually. Manually is these authorization objects are not pulled from the SU24. These are added manually according to the requirement. In real time, manually is not suggested and recommended to minimize as much as minimum to add the authorization objects manually. What is the disadvantage is like, when you add some authorization object manually today according to some requirement, tomorrow if somebody sees they do not know, or even we may forget why did we add this authorization object. So because we have not linked this authorization object under any of the transaction code, we don't know why did we add it. So better to minimize this addition of manually authorization objects in the real time to avoid these situations. Some people also ask about the traffic lights which we see in this change authorization data type. We have three traffic lights: red, yellow, and green. Red in the sense indicates the org values are missing. Yellow indicates authorization field values are missing. Green indicates all the authorization values are maintained. Here I remember one question mostly. Most of the interviewers will ask this: can I convert an authorization field to an org field? Yes, we can convert. We do have a program, uh, pfcg underscore or field underscore create, the program we execute, and we can convert the authorization field to a org field. But here, we need to remember one thing: we cannot convert activity field. Activity field is always an authorization field. We cannot convert it into the org field. These are the different questions which are asked, and sometimes the interviewers also focuses on the profile generation different ways. So profile generations can be done in two ways. One is by using this change authorization tab. So you add some T codes or more into the role menu. You will go to the change authorization tab and you will modify the authorization field values according to the requirement, and you will generate the profile and save the role. There is another option also available that is called expert mode, where we can generate the profile. So interviewer sometimes focuses on this expert mode, and they may ask you what are the different options available in the expert mode for the profile generation. So in the expert mode of profile generation, whenever we use it, we have three different options. First one is delete and recreate authorizations. First option means, what is that? All the authorizations whatever existing are deleted. That is the maintain, change, manually added authorizations existing, all are deleted, and newly it will fetch the data from the SU24. That means standard data only will be there. The second option is edit old status. Edit old status means the last modified authorization data, that is authorization fields and values, will remain the same, but there will be no new data coming here. But in case if you add a new T code in the role menu, it should pick the new data from SU24, right? But it will not pick here, only the old data will be there. So this is a disadvantage. And the third one, mostly used one, which is recommended by SAP also, is like read old data and merge with new data. So as the name is suggesting, what it will do, it will read the old existing authorization data, the fields and the values, and also merges the new data whenever you add from new T code in the role menu, so that you can do the changes accordingly. So this is most recommended by the SAP, and we also use this option mostly rather than using the first and second one. And whenever we do any changes in SU24 also, we do go with the third option only, but not with the first and second options. The next part where the interviewers focuses is on is this SU24, SU22 T codes and related tables. So what is the usage of this SU24? So SU24 is one of the most important transaction code, where we can maintain all the authorization objects need to be checked for the particular transaction. So this is a customizer table. Whereas SU22 is also the T code which displays you all the authorization objects which need to be checked for a particular transaction as recommended by SAP. So this is the standard one, whereas SU24 is a customization. So what are the tables behind this SU24 and SU22? So USOBX and USOBT, these two are the tables behind the SU22. USOBX underscore C, USOBT underscore C. These two are the tables behind the SU24. So these are customized tables. So how can we copy this data from standard, that is SU22 data, that is the tables of USOBX and USOBT to SU24 data to USOBX underscore C to USOBT underscore C. So how can I copy the data from SU22 tables to SU24 tables? So this can be done by using SU25. So we will copy the data, and later on whatever the changes we do require, we will start doing the changes in SU24. So what all the changes we do in SU24, that changes will be reflecting in the tables USOBX underscore C, USOBT underscore C. Now here, the most of the times the interviewer asks question is, what is the difference between USOBX and USOBT tables? USOBX table is nothing but transaction versus the check indicators. authorization check indicators. US OBT is nothing but the transactions versus authorization fields. So US OBX means what? This table will have the data which will show you what are all the authorization checks related to that particular transaction, whereas US OBT table will show you the what are all the authorization data related to a particular transaction. So this is the most frequently asked interview question. So blindly we can remember when there is a X, that is for the check mark. So the table will have check indicators. T means authorization data. So X for the check indicators, the other table is for the authorization field. In this way we can remember easily for this. Interviewers also focuses on questions related to troubleshooting issues. What are the different T codes used for troubleshooting? So we use SU53 for troubleshooting, SU56 we use for user buffer sometimes, and mostly use it for tracing purpose, ST01 and ST-auth-trace. What is the usage of SU53? So SU53 T code will give us the last failed check, authorization check. So what we do, whenever the user says I'm getting a error message like authorization failed or you are not authorized to something else, so we will ask for the SU53 screenshot from the user. So from there I can identify the last missing authorization and I can add that authorization so that the user will get the required access. It is not that every time we need to ask a screenshot of the user. Even we can just ask the user to execute that particular transaction, and whenever they get the error message, please stop there, and we can pull the SU53 for the remote user as well. So in that way also it will be. SU53 is a T code majorly used for the troubleshooting authorization issues, and it displays the last failed authorization check. Still we have any other authorization issues, so we will go with the tracing techniques. So tracing, it can be done by using ST01 and ST-auth-trace. Here the most important interview question: what is the difference between ST01 and ST-auth-trace T codes? ST01 T code is used for tracing. ST-auth-trace is also used for tracing only. So the difference is that if you are using ST01 T code, so the user for which you are searching on the trace and the trace should be on the same instance, whereas ST-auth-trace globally it will work. That is one difference. And second difference, ST-auth-trace, as the name indicates, it is used only for the authorization trace purpose, whereas ST01 can be used for authorization trace, DB trace, HTTPS trace, other traces as well. So these two are the difference. The user for which you are switching on the trace as well as the person who is switching on the trace, both should be logged on the same in for ST01, whereas for ST-auth-trace it is not required. So we can use either ST01 or ST-auth-trace according to our convenient for the tracing purpose. Then sometimes we also use a concept of user buffer. So interviewers also ask what is meant by user buffer. So user buffer will contain the authorizations of the user which are checked recently. So where can I see this? So SU56 is a T code where we can view the user buffer. So what happens is whenever there are too many entries on this user buffer which is exceeded the maximum limit, and when the system is trying to check whether the authorization is present in user buffer or not, if it is not there, it generally sometimes throws the authorization error. So in that case what we do is we reset the user buffer, then it will work out. So can we set the maximum entries for the user buffer? Because just now we said that if the entries are maximum, sometimes it throws authorization error, right? So can we set the maximum entries for this user buffer? Yes, of course we can do that. It is done by the profile parameter. So we need to modify the profile parameter auth underscore number underscore in underscore user buffer. So this is used to set the maximum number of entries for the user buffer. So these are the few questions related to the user buffer. Still there are the questions where the interviewer focuses on critical authorization objects and some real-time issues, audit related questions as well. So in the next video we will try to cover few more questions related to SAP security. Thank you for watching. Bye.